Okay, so we all know that bike lash is a thing, right? This is the phenomenon where people's brains just are totally fried when they're presented with anything like a significant improvement to a bikeway that changes the existing road design. Well, there's also bus lash. I want to share with you some footage from a meeting on September 11th. This is the Lents Livability Neighborhood Association, which I hear is like a splinter group from like the main original neighborhood association. This group of Lents residents who are just really, really sick and tired of the lack of response or the amount of, I should say, people living on the street and related things like the garbage and the graffiti and all this other stuff. I guess they formed this other group, this Livability Association, several years ago in response to that. So this is them hearing from P-Bot planner named Julia Reed and also the director of community engagement for TriMet named Jennifer Kuzer. They both attended this meeting to present to them some information about the 82nd Avenue Transit Project. This is the TriMet P-Bot Metro thing where they're trying to add sort of Portland's version of bus rapid transit, bus access and turn lanes, where this is like a bus lane that's semi-dedicated, what drivers can get into just to turn right. I've been reporting on this for a bit. There's some debate about how much of the lane should be this bat lane, whether or not it should be continuous for like the whole 10 miles of this 82nd Avenue corridor project, or if folks oppose it in certain areas where there's, I guess, a lot of businesses or other pushback, whether or not the project leaders and the folks making the final decision are going to pull this bat lane back. So essentially make transit lanes less effective for transit users to respond to opposition from mostly people who drive and business owners who have this idea that somehow they need continuous motor vehicle access to every inch of 82nd instead of improving it for transit users. That's a separate conversation. The reason why I'm sharing this video is I just came across it recently, and it shows how these agency staff really face some pretty unhinged, I think very disrespectful, inappropriate behavior from some folks when they go into these meetings. I think it's a really good example of what they hear in these meetings. It's a good example of this bus lash, people opposing changes to street designs, and I think it's worth hearing. I want to say kudos to these staffers who took a lot of this heat, stayed calm and collected, and responded to folks like a professional should, didn't allow themselves to get rattled, but still, boy, we got to do something about these meetings. This is not okay.
Now, what's all this concrete stuff that they're putting out, like down Division?
Yeah.
They put a daggum, and then they put those concrete jobs in. Hell, those things have been there for years. Why all the concrete all of a sudden?
Yeah, those are, I'm not sure if I know which one you're talking about on Flip Out, but the medians are to help pedestrians cross more safely, and in some places they help limit turning movements because a lot of crashes happen when vehicles are turning left. So when we can focus left turns at the places that are safer, we see a lot fewer crashes.
Yeah, it just, to me, it's mind-boggling. I mean, I'm 82 years old, and I've seen a lot of changes in this city. But when they started pouring all this concrete down there, and then the people on Division, how in the world are they going to get from one side to a business on the other without having to go 3 blocks, make a U-turn, and come back? It's stupid.
I hear ya.
It's inconvenient. It takes up time. That's wasted time. And what's the cost of 100 feet of this concrete median? To me, it feels like it's either a protection for the homeless, so they can have a safe place to walk across the street, or you're trying to stop the people that do whatever stuff in the cars. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense because you're making it inconvenient for the residents and for the businesses.
Yeah, it can make it less convenient to drive when you have to go a more circuitous route, but it makes it safer for people who are walking and biking. It also prevents the crashes that happen when vehicles are turning left. That's where we see more vehicles crashing into one another. Another way to help the bus stay on schedule is to give it priority by having a bus lane. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we're considering is having a business and transit lane. So that's where you take that outside lane, the right lane, the lane closest to the curb, and reserve it for buses and vehicles that are turning right. So then the left lane is for all the through traffic. And then there are left turn areas as well.
How many cars travel on 82nd between, let's say, Foster and Gleason a day?
One of your colleagues has that number?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's thousands and thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
So you're going to take that from a 4-lane highway, it's a freeway, right? Again, you guys are cutting down travel for all of us trying to get to work, pick up our kids, go to the hospital, whatever it is, you're making it inconvenient and take longer. For what?
But if
So
you're
the bus-
behind,
But if you have a bus only lane, now you're not allowed as through traffic, you're not allowed to travel in that lane at all.
Why should TriMet get a dedicated line? We paid for that street over and over and over again. Now you're taking it away?
And when tolling takes effect and the flow-through traffic from off 205, with you down to one travel lane in each direction, it's gonna be backed up in a congestion nightmare.
And you are asking about why make that space for the buses.
Correct.
And I want to think about the people on the buses. We have so many people who use 82nd to get to their jobs, to get to school, and to do their shopping, to do their everyday needs. And there are also people who are driving. So we want to make sure that everybody can.
Okay, how many people in a 24-hour period are using TriMet on 82nd versus how many people in a car are using 82nd to get to those same places?
I don't have that number.
Well, you should. You should know that before you make any kind of determination like taking away 2 lanes.
And now all of a sudden, they want to upgrade everything, they want to raise the taxes, they want to do all this. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
but there's more
It is-
people riding the
yeah.
bus now.
That's a good point. Yes.
Yes.
There are more people
Yes.
that depend on line 72. And line 72 gets stuck in traffic. People who don't have the choice of using a car, this is to help make their lives easier.
They want to eliminate the cars.
Correct.
No.
That's the
No.
bottom line.
That's the
No,
bottom line.
it's a
They want
balance.
to put everybody
It's to
in
make it work
buses
for
and
everybody.
bicycles.
It's to make it work for everybody.
But, you know, it's like the city doesn't want people to have cars. They want them to use mass transit.
We do want to make it easier for people to ride transit. We don't want to make it hard for people. We want to make it work for everybody.
That's okay.
When Neil Goldschmidt was on city council, one of his staffers, his name was Alan Weber, came up with a policy paper called Disincentives to the Automobile. And Neil Goldschmidt rode that to national prominence and got appointed as Transportation Secretary under Jimmy Carter. And this outlines everything that they're trying to do incrementally. Because my buddies and I in our hot rods down on Broadway, we were some of the first casualties in Goldschmidt's war on cars. So, I mean, I can't believe that this is all just rainbows, unicorns, and lollipops. This is premeditated and being done.
In 2012, I think City of Portland signed on to the 15-minute city plan.
Right,
That is to get rid of cars.
yeah. Every place you travel
To make it
is within
for everybody to
15-minute
get
walk
around.
of where you're allowed to live.
Did you have another question?
People on buses have more social credit than drivers.
Yep.
Do they matter more
There's
than
just
we
more
do?
people in a bus than in a car.
TriMet riders are extremely subsidized per ride. Car drivers with gasoline, maintenance, insurance, etc., we're not subsidized. So to put them ahead of us in any kind of priority is demeaning. It's insulting.
Very much.
So I think we've heard loud and clear a lack of support for bus and turn lanes from this neighborhood association.